Hi there, Jackie Ray here, co-founder of Yoga Veda Institute and creator of Sister Science, an online program designed for yoga teachers and Ayurvedic professionals who are struggling to incorporate Ayurvedic yoga into their practice. This week, we're taking a peek inside some key Ayurvedic themes and concepts. This course is for anyone, both students and teachers, who want to have a little bit more balance, a little more love, and a little more connection in their life. Today, we are going to be introducing some Ayurvedic concepts in a way that are easy to understand, easy to follow, and most importantly, easy to apply. The whole point of this program is to present Ayurveda in a way that is easy to share with your community. If you ever need any advice, any additional guidance, or additional support, you can find it right inside our private Sister Science community Facebook group, where our Ayurvedic yoga therapy teachers are waiting to answer any questions you have along the way. So let's get started. I'm going to be sharing today some basic Ayurvedic teachings as they relate to you, to your life, and to your very personal state of well-being. Because Ayurveda and yoga are both very personal and practical sciences, it is my intention to show you how to follow the path that Ayurveda has laid out for you to achieve your perfect state of balance. Today you'll learn that the universe has created a perfect roadmap, signposts for you to follow to achieve your perfect state of harmony and well-being. And you'll also learn what those signposts are and how to recognize them. We are also going to talk about your own unique journey and how to follow the signs that the universe has placed in your path, how to stop striving to achieve a perfect state, but rather to enjoy the journey while at the same time not reaching for any one final destination. Ayurveda and yoga are essentially two sides of the same coin. You cannot truly practice one without the other. They are so interrelated and so intertwined that separating them is, well, it's impossible. Yoga has always been intended as a spiritual practice that allows us to connect to our ultimate purpose in this life. Ayurveda is the guiding light that allows us to maintain perfect balance and harmony on our spiritual journey to wholeness. Ayurveda is the roadmap, unique and perfectly detailed on your very personal journey to well-being. The universe provides you with a roadmap that is in such great detail, and by tuning in, by watching, listening, and following the very clear signs that are laid out in your path, you can begin to use the ancient teachings of Ayurveda to find a balance and an overall harmonious state of being. It's really important to understand the foundations and the intentions when we develop any new practice. Dr. David Frawley, a world-renowned teacher of Ayurveda, says it best in an article that he wrote on the importance of bringing Ayurveda back into the practice of yoga. He says, "Yoga is an inner spiritual practice. This does not mean that we cannot use aspects of yoga medically, but that this is not its primary intent or orientation. To do so would require applying yoga in a different manner than what it was originally meant to be. If our aim is to turn yoga into a medical system, this requires turning yoga into the direction of Ayurveda. yoga for healing should be applied according to Ayurvedic guidelines of diagnosis, treatment, and health maintenance. In fact, there was never any yogic system of medicine in India apart from Ayurveda. Ayurveda brings ritual, mantra, meditation for healing the mind. In addition, it provides lifestyle recommendations for health, longevity, and disease prevention, as well as special methods for rejuvenation of body and mind. It includes the practices of yoga from asana and pranayama to mantra and meditation as part of its healing tools. Most importantly, we do not find in yoga texts a discussion of disease, pathology, diagnosis, or treatment strategies apart from the approach of Ayurveda. For a full application of the methods of yoga for healing purposes, we need a complete medical system that follows the philosophy, principles, and practices of yoga, and that can employ not only asana as therapy, but also pranayama, pratyahara, concentration, and meditation, as well as samadhi, and which follows a yogic lifestyle. While modern medicine can be helpful as a background for applying the physical aspects of yoga, it lacks the yogic understanding of life and the human being for a full application of all the branches of yoga for body, mind, and spirit. We need a yogic system of medicine, not simply in terms of asana or physical therapy, but also in regards to internal medicine, diet, herbs, and drugs. We need a yogic system of medicine not simply for treating the physical body, but also for treating the mind, emotions, and psychological disorders. Such a greater yogic system of medicine need not be invented. It already exists in the form of Ayurveda. Ayurveda develops its view of the body and mind, nature, and healing from the background of yoga philosophy. Ayurveda describes our connection, our very unique and one-of-a-kind relationship that exists between us and the universe. Ayurveda offers a roadmap of the universe's signposts on the road to perfect balance and harmony. The universe's perfect signposts are the 5 elements that are found in everything throughout the universe. By building a connection and beginning to recognize these signposts, you're on your way to being able to use the beautiful teachings of Ayurveda in your daily life, with your friends and family, and to share with your students as well. The universe's signposts are ether or space, air, fire, water, and earth. These 5 elements are found throughout our bodies, our foods, our environment, and indeed throughout the entire universe. By beginning to understand these 5 elements from a new perspective, we can begin to understand the most basic principles that are taught in Ayurvedic medicine. One term that most of you have probably heard is dosha. Dosha is simply a concept, a way that the ancients used to describe these 5 elements, or more accurately, a specific combination of 2 predominant elements. For ease and simplicity, let's not worry about the doshas for now, but rather examine each of the elements in detail of its own accord. Each of the 5 elements can be viewed as signposts to balance. Remember that. By recognizing the qualities of each of the elements, we can begin to understand how these qualities show up in our diets, in our yoga practices, in our meditation, in our relationships, and everywhere in our daily lives. When you think about air, how would you describe it? How do you experience air through your five senses? How does it look? How does it feel? How does it sound? Air is cold. Air is fast, moving. It's really changing. Air is mobile. It may feel dry to the touch. Can you feel it? Air is light. It weighs nothing at all. The word that Ayurveda uses to describe this feeling, this element of air, and all of its manifestations is Vata. The next element that Ayurveda describes is space, sometimes also referred to as ether in Ayurveda. Space is something that is all-pervading, all-encompassing. It's everywhere. Space is in our bodies, our minds, and everywhere throughout the universe. Think of space. How does it look? How does it feel? How would you describe it to someone who's not of this world? What is space? Well, space is really, really light. Space can be soft, maybe even smooth in texture. Space is vast and expansive. What words would you use to describe space? Ayurveda refers to the element space and all of its similar qualities as Vata. The next elemental signpost on our journey is the element of fire. Unmistakably hot, fire can be described as sharp and penetrating. Fire is very light. Fire is dry. What other ways can you use to describe the element fire? Ayurveda describes the element fire and all of its qualities as Pitta. The next element, water, is cold. Water is damp, liquid, soft to the touch. Water is much more dense than air, space, or fire. When you think of water, how does it feel? How does it look? What are the qualities of water? Ayurveda describes the element water and all of its manifestations as Kapha. The last universal signpost we are going to talk about is the element of earth. Earth, as I'm sure we can all agree, is very solid. Earth is stable. Earth is heavy. When Ayurveda speaks of the earth element and all of its wonders, it describes it as Kapha. These five universal elements, these five universal signposts, are all you need to remember in order to begin to understand a roadmap that the universe has provided. Ayurveda has decoded these 5 elements: space, air, fire, water, and earth as the beacons of light on your journey to complete balance and harmony. Each one of these elements will show itself in each and every one of us at varying times throughout our lives. By keeping an eye out and by understanding these elements and how they influence our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our lives, and by recognizing which elements are predominant and which ones are causing disharmony, we can begin to follow the universe's perfect roadmap to balance. Each one of us is on a very unique journey. We each have our own set of unique circumstances that have brought us to where we are today. We have our own unique set of genes, history, lifestyle, diet, routines, relationships, and path that have brought us exactly to the place that we are today. Ayurveda teaches us that each and every one of us is in a very unique place within this universe, that each and every one of us are a one-of-a-kind manifestation of this universe and each of the elements in it. When we can begin to recognize the unique combination of elements and how they are showing up in our bodies, our minds, our relationships, our yoga practice, our meditation, our practice of pranayama, we can begin to recognize the unique set of signposts that are going to point us to our perfect state of balance. In order to begin to embark on this journey that is Ayurveda, we need to understand a little bit about how to determine our own unique place in the universe. We may have been asked the question, what's your dosha? This question, by nature, is confusing and in general leaves a lot of people really confused about what kind of Ayurvedic balancing routine and principles they should follow. That is because when attempting to discover your very unique combination of the 5 elements, you first need to have some sort of point of reference. How can you know how far off your path you've traveled if you have no idea where you started your journey in the first place? Simply put, this is the number one reason that Ayurveda is so widely misunderstood, misrepresented, and misused. You cannot know what your state of balance strives to become if you have no jumping off point and no starting point of reference. If you've ever done any form of dosha test or ever been to a practitioner of Ayurveda and you determined what your dosha is without determining what it was, the recommendations can sometimes be misinterpreted, misunderstood. But don't worry, we're going to sort that all out right now. Because we're each on our own unique journey, we need to determine what it is that causes us the most disharmony in regards to the 5 elements we've been talking about. So today, our goal is to determine your unique combination of elements that are creating disharmony and overall a general state of imbalance. Dosha, simply defined, is that element, or more accurately, a combination of elements that causes imbalance in our bodies and in our minds. In order to determine what path we need to embark on our Ayurvedic journey, we first need to determine where we first began. Our original perfect state of perfect balance in Ayurveda we call not dosha, but prakriti. So then, only after we can compare our current state, not dosha, but Vikriti, to what it was, and only then do we receive our very unique roadmap to perfect health and harmony. So what's your dosha? We now know that this question has no correct answer. The correct question to be asked may be, what's your Prakriti? Or what's your original dosha? Or maybe, what's your Vikriti? Or your current state of imbalance? Because the doshas are simply combinations of the 5 elements, space, air, water, fire, and earth, what we really want to determine is the unique combination of these 5 elements at the time of our creation or our conception. These are determined by countless factors of which are completely outside of our control, like genetics, mother's diet, place and time of birth, even your past life karma, some might say, and so much more. Once we know what our unique elements were, we always know what we can strive to return to, no matter how far away from the path we may have traveled. By understanding our original state, we know where to go and where we're coming from. Most of the time, when we're talking about our dosha, we're talking about our current state of imbalance. So by understanding what combination of the elements are causing imbalances, we can begin to understand what we need to do to return to balance. The most important thing to take into consideration is to simply enjoy the journey. Ayurveda offers tools and principles, a roadmap to health, with you as the driver. Ayurveda is a journey to balance. The universe offers signposts on the road to balance. But of course, like any long journey, the road is full of detours. It's full of roadblocks and plenty of wrong turns. Ayurveda offers a comprehensive roadmap to use on our journey. And though we may come upon roadblocks and detours, we can use this roadmap to safely navigate the way back to balance, using the universal elements as signposts on our journey. So enjoy the journey. One of my all-time fave Lao Tzu quotes is, "A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step." Today, take the first step on this journey of 1,000 miles. The first step is to begin to understand our unique place in the universe. This is not a dosha test, but rather a journey into the past to rediscover where we should be heading. Take the first step today by setting aside a few minutes, just a few, to fill out today's worksheets, which will help you determine what unique signposts have been sent to you by the universe. I'll be inside our Sister Science Community Facebook group to answer any questions that you have while you're going through today's lessons. Until next time, see you in the next lesson. Hi there, Jackie Ray here.